UFC Fight Night Cannonier versus Rodrigues has some great underdogs on the card. I'm going to be looking at the entire card and figuring out what are the best places to actually bet on some of these underdogs. I'm going to rank number 1, number 2, number 3, and maybe number 4 as well, but not all of these fights have good underdogs, so that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video for this banger UFC Fight Night. Gregory Rodrigues, Jared Cannonier in the main event. Ooh, what a great card. But, of course, we're not going to be looking at the best underdog as I'm the most confident in that underdog winning. It's what's the most valuable underdog bet I could possibly make out of all of the underdogs on this card. We're going to start with the bottom with Julia Avila and make our way all the way to the top. The main event, Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodrigues. First of all, Jacqueline Cavalcanti, Julia Avila is very, very interesting. You can see here, Jacqueline is like the biggest favorite on the card, minus 500, taking on Julia Avila, who at best is at plus 425, which is crazy, crazy underdog odds. Of course, it is a fight that, you're not going to go out there and bet on the favorite. You're not going to parlay Jacqueline Cavalcanti, especially in, lower level women's MMA. You don't want to be parlaying these big favorites because it's very risky. But it's not a fight I would even sprinkle on the underdog either. It's one of those, don't bet either way. I would pass on this one, maybe look at some props on it as well. But if you're going to bet on this one straight, it's not an underdog I'm going to be very, very confident in because she hasn't fought in over a year. I don't know what she's been doing, if she's been injured or something else. So it's not one that I would say is a good underdog or a bad underdog. It's one that I would say to look away from and look at the other fights that are on this card. Then we got Don'Tale Mayes, who is a great, great underdog on this card. And I'm going to go as far to say this is my underdog of the card. Plus 190 for Don'Tale Mayes. And his odds just keep getting better and better and better. The best you can get Don'Tale Mayes at is almost plus 200 at plus 199. Crazy value for a fight. I actually think Don'Tale Mayes wins. Just straight up. And I think he should be a favorite in his own right. I don't understand how he is an underdog, let alone a 2-1 underdog. He's a better striker. He's got more power. He's a lengthier fighter as well. Better boxing. Walter Walker's cardio really isn't there. Don'Tale Mayes' cardio isn't amazing either, but is better than Walter Walker's in wrestling and grappling. Yes, Walter has a slight advantage, but not enough to dominate 3 rounds at heavyweight MMA or submit Don'Tale or TKO him on the ground. I really don't understand these odds. I mean, I'm going to make a video after the card is over discussing this fight because I am very perplexed on how he's such an underdog. But Don'Tale Mayes is my underdog of the card on these odds. Plus 190, plus 200 is crazy for Don'Tale Mayes, a top 15 heavyweight, taking on Walter, who I believe is 1-1 in the UFC. Lost to Lucas Brzezinski, who is 1-5 in the UFC, and beat Junior Tafa, who I believe is like 1-3 in the UFC. Junior Tafa beat Sean Sharaf. Parker Porter, he's 2-3 in the UFC. Those are his 2 fights. Lost to a 1-5 guy and beat a 2-3 guy. Again, I don't understand how he's an underdog, let alone 2-1. So yeah, that is going to be my underdog of the card on the prelims of UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Rodrigues. But we go on. Elijah Smith, Vince Morales. Again, earlier on in this week, there might have been some value on Vince Morales for sure, but that's why the odds have gone the way they have, is Vince Morales started out these odds plus 125, immediately money coming in on Elijah Smith, had Vince Morales as a 2-1 dog, and that's of course a dog or pass bet at plus 200. Of course, you're not going to be betting the favorite there, but money just poured in on Vince Morales. Now he's at plus 140. Not really a good underdog bet anymore, unless you're on FanDuel, or you can get plus 180, which is still solid. But right now, if you're at that plus 140 range, plus 130, it's not a good dog bet, in my opinion. In fact, might be some good odds on Elijah Smith to actually win as the favorite. Chaos Williams, Gabriel Bonfim. This is my number 2 dog of the card. Again, I have Chaos Williams winning outright. I think he wins the fight. Just straight up, and he's a plus 185 dog. He's never been out-wrestled or out-grappled in any of his UFC fights. He's got way better striking and boxing and power than Gabriel Bonfim. He's outstruck some good strikers in the UFC, kept it really even with the Randy Brown types, and arguably won that fight as well. Again, Great takedown defense, again, against like way less competition, but I still believe he wins that fight. It's a very close one, but again, good underdog odds on Chaos Williams right there. Cowboy Fernandez, Jared Gordon has been canceled. We'll see if we get a replacement for Jared Gordon in the next few days. Jesus Aguilar, Rafael Estevam, that's a dog or pass. Not amazing value on Jesus Aguilar, but if you're going to do anything with that fight, it is a dog bet, or you don't bet the fight at all. Plus 300 isn't horrible for Jesus Aguilar. Angela Hill, this is one where, yes, it's a great underdog of the card on some of these, where she's minus 104, minus 104 here again, minus 105, where she is the slight underdog. Some of them have her as the slight favorite, but if you're getting plus money or like minus 103, minus 104 on Angela Hill, that's some good underdog value on Angela Hill. Again, I think she wins. I feel very good about her winning. So Angela Hill, great underdog of the card. Jose Delgado, Connor Matthews, I'm feeling really, really solid, to be honest with you guys, on Jose Delgado. So not a good underdog bet, in my opinion. For Connor Matthews, Jose, taller, lengthier, better striker, good wrestling as well. Overall, just great fighter, and I think should be able to win that fight. Rodolfo Vieira, Petrosky, definitely dog or pass. When you got two wrestlers and grapplers, they're probably going to strike for 3 rounds, mix in a little bit of grappling, but for the most part, strike. And I don't think Vieira has a significant advantage over Petrosky on the feet. I think he goes either way on the feet. When that happens, it's a dog or pass. Don't bet the favorite. That is probably top 3. And maybe my number 3 or number 4 underdog of the card, but besides Dante Mays and besides Chaos Williams. Very, very close fight. Dog or pass for sure. Nazim Sadikov, this is again just like Andre Petrosky, is my number 3, number 4 dog of the card. You can get plus 175 on Nazim Sadikov. He's just getting better and better and better odds. Great underdog bet. Again, I'm not confident in Nazim. It's a 50-50 fight. I barely lean Nazim Sadikov, but plus 175 is insane value there in the lightweight division. So those are my top 4. We got Nazim Sadikov. We got Andre Petrosky. We do have Chaos Williams. Then we got Dante Mays. Great value on all of those underdogs. Dylan Budka, don't bet that. That's a parlay piece, in my opinion, for Edmund Shabazian. Do not bet the underdog. Dylan is not UFC caliber. Youssef Zalal, Calvin Kattar. Again, another dog or pass bet. I don't feel good about betting on Calvin, but a little sprinkle doesn't hurt for him to be such a big underdog against Youssef Zalal when... If we're looking at the odds for him against Aljamain Sterling, I mean, he was only a 2-1 underdog. Now he's a 4-1 underdog against a lesser opponent in Youssef Zalal. I would definitely say there's value on the dog there. Don't bet the favorite, but it's a dog or pass. Jared Cannonier, Gregory Rodrigues, another dog or pass fight. I personally wouldn't bet the favorite. I'm going to say probably pass this fight. This is more to look at the props for that matchup in the middleweight division. So like I said, there are some good underdogs on the card. I only think the betting on the favorites for this card works for maybe Edmund Shabazian. Jose Delgado's a little iffy. Angela Hill on some of these, I would bet as a favorite. And then the last one would be Elijah Smith. Other than that, there's a lot of good underdog or pass type of fights. But that's what I got for you guys. The underdogs of the card for UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Rodrigues. Great card, great night of fights. 12 fights now. Could be another one with Jared Cannonier being added. We shall see. Thanks for watching. I said that really fast. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.